Hello friends, and welcome. Have you ever put on your makeup, driven to a meeting or event, only to later look in a restroom mirror and discover that the blush you'd applied so carefully earlier had completely disappeared? Well, you're certainly not alone if this has happened. Most of us have had this very same experience since blush is notorious for pulling a disappearing act. But there are definitely some easy fixes that can help us avoid this issue. So today I'll be sharing with you a variety of different techniques that can help blush last longer, which I'll also be demonstrating later in this video. You definitely don't have to do all of these things, but as a makeup artist who specializes in helping women our age look our best, I love sharing a variety of different options so you can choose which of the options will work best for you. But I will definitely share with you at the end of this video the two techniques that I feel are most helpful. If this is your first time joining me, please let me extend a very special welcome. And I also want to welcome back those of you who are subscribers to this channel or who've watched previous videos. My passion is sharing what I've learned as a makeup artist that specifically helps those of us who are older look like the very best version of ourselves. So if the focus of this channel resonates with you, I hope you'll subscribe before you leave today. And I thank you so very much if you decide to do so. The first tip I want to talk about today to prevent blush from disappearing involves our skin prep. Cleansed, exfoliated, and moisturized skin not only helps our skin and makeup look its best, but it also helps our makeup last longer. Just about every makeup brand makes some kind of exfoliating product, but one I especially love is Tatcha's The Rice Polish, which is gentle on the skin but also extremely effective. I used this product the day before yesterday before applying my makeup. It helps to remove dead skin cells, and removing dead skin cells helps our face look brighter, and it also enables other products like moisturizers, foundations, and blush products to adhere better to our skin and therefore last longer. A second option is to consider using face primer. The very reason face primer was invented was to help our makeup last longer. It's applied after skincare and before makeup to help prevent makeup from slipping, from fading, or creasing. And some primers are also designed to help in other ways, such as smoothing out the look of large pores, color correcting, hydrating, mattifying, or even illuminating our skin. Two of my favorite primers are Tatcha's The Liquid Silk Canvas Primer and Benefit's Porefessional Hydrating Primer. These Benefit primers come in pore minimizing formula and also a skin brightening formula. Today I use Benefit's Porefessional Hydrating Primer before putting on the rest of my makeup. The type of foundation we use and our application techniques do make a difference, so a third tip that can help is using a liquid foundation underneath blush, since a liquid foundation provides a dewier surface for the blush to blend into. Today I combine L'Oreal's Age Perfect Foundation with Catrice's True Skin Hydrating Foundation, which are both liquid foundations. The next option, number 4, involves application technique. Using a sponge to apply blush can shear out the blush, so using our fingers or a brush really works much better and ensures longer lasting blush. The fifth technique that helps blush last longer is to layer blush formulas. Applying a liquid or a cream blush first, followed by powder blush over it, can definitely help blush stay in place longer, since the powder helps to lock in the cream. I particularly love Selena Gomez's Stay Vulnerable Cream Blush, Merit's Flush Balm Cream Blush, and RMS's Lip to Cheek Blush. And a great drugstore option is Flower Beauty's Blush Balm. Today, I'm going to go ahead and apply Selena Gomez's Stay Vulnerable Cream Blush in nearly neutral on one side of my face using a stippling brush. So here are the two products that I'll be using. I'm going to start at the back and gradually bring it forward and keep it about 2 finger widths away from the nose and just blend it in so there's a light flush. And I think you can see the difference between the two sides of my face with blush and without blush. A gorgeous light powder blush that works beautifully over cream is Hourglass's Ambient Lighting Blush. I think you can tell which are the two blush colors on the bottom row to the far right, the middle and the one on the far right. I'm going to be using a combination of both of those colors. I'm going to be using this fan brush to apply it. I think you can tell that added just a little bit more color. And that additional powder will really keep the blush in place much longer. This ambient lighting powder from Hourglass is lightweight and seamless, and it really creates depth and dimension through soft focus technology. The colors I used are Iridescent Rose and Sublime Flush. But there's also a different application technique that makeup artist Patrick Ta has recently popularized with his Double Take Cream and Powder Blush product. Patrick Ta suggests applying his powder blush first and topping the powder blush with his cream blush. He recommends patting on the powder blush first with a fluffy brush and then using a damp makeup sponge to pat on the cream blush over the powder blush. The patting motion ensures that the foundation underneath won't be disturbed. So I'm going to go ahead and try Patrick Ta's product and method on the other side of my face. The shade that I'll be using is called She's That Girl. You're seeing some reflection because the cream blush is at the top of the palette and there's a plastic cover over it so that the powder blush doesn't get on it, which is really a brilliant way to do it. So I'm first going to use this fluffy brush to apply the powder blush on the other side of my face. Once again, I'm going to start at the back and just bring it forward. And another light application. And like the other side, I'm going to bring it up just slightly. Now I'm going to take my dampened Real Technique sponge and put some of the cream blush on the sponge and then just pat it in. One of the reasons I love this Real Technique sponge is because of the angle, which works so well in the cheekbone area. And I'm going to bring this slightly up. I love the look of this cream blush. And by the way, using more than one color when layering blush can also add a little bit more depth to the look. So let's now take a look at each side of my face to see if we notice any real difference in how the blush looks, since we did use two very different techniques on each side of my face. So here's the side with the cream blush applied first and the powder over it. And I used the Selena Gomez Stay Vulnerable blush and with the ambient lighting powder over it. And here's the other side of my face where we used the Patrick Ta product, and I applied with a fluffy brush the powder first and then used my sponge to apply the cream blush over it. And I also want to focus on one other important aspect of our blush application, and that's how much blush we apply. Since we've all seen examples of blush gone very wrong, and perhaps even on our own faces, I think most of us harbor a fear of applying too much blush, but we just may want to apply slightly more blush than we're normally comfortable wearing, and here's why. Think back for a moment to TV shows, movies, or novels that you've read that were set in the 18th or 19th centuries. What did women do to add some color to their faces? Well, as we all know, they pinched their cheeks, right? Well, since the blood vessels right under the surface of the skin cause natural color to appear when stimulated, this technique worked really well. Well, today, when we use our fingers or a brush to apply blush to our faces, the same principle applies. So after applying blush, we're seeing a mixture of not only the blush color, but also the natural flush, since our fingers or the brush that we've used stimulate the surface of our skin. So it's always a good idea to wait a few minutes for the flush to dissipate so you can really get an accurate picture of how your blush looks. If you wait a few moments for the blush in your skin to settle, you might be surprised to see that you didn't apply as much blush as you thought you did. You might think your blush faded quickly when in reality, the stimulation of the skin gave your blush a boost, which has now disappeared. So since we've waited a few moments, let's go ahead now and take a moment to assess how the blush looks on both sides of my face to see if I need to add more blush to either side. I'm frankly thinking we can add a little bit more blush to both sides, so let me go ahead and do that. I think you can really see this blush more with that second application. So I'm going to go ahead and apply more of the Patrick Ta blush on this side of my face. First the powder, and then I'm taking my sponge and applying that over the powder. So here's a final look at both sides. So here's the Stay Vulnerable cream blush with the powder over it, and here's the side with the powder blush first and the cream over it. And this last technique, in addition to layering our blush, which we just did, is the most important technique we can do to help our blush last longer. And it also helps the rest of our makeup last longer as well. It's using setting spray as the final step in our makeup routine. I particularly love the cult classic all-nighter setting spray from the brand Urban Decay. The setting spray can be sprayed onto the cheek area or all over the face, but frankly, I much prefer spraying it onto a slightly damp makeup sponge and then gently pressing it into the skin. And I must also say that I've heard some people swear that using hairspray as their setting spray works just as well. So I'm going to spray a little bit of this all-nighter setting spray onto my sponge, and then I'm going to just gently press in. I also have here one of my other favorite products, which is a luminous dewy skin spray from Tatcha. And sometimes if I want a more luminous look to my finished makeup, I'll put a little bit of this over the setting spray, and I'll just pounce it in with the sponge as I did with the setting spray. And I'm going to spray it. Well, I hope one or more of the techniques that we explored today will come in handy so you won't have to worry any longer about your blush disappearing. And I also hope you'll let me know in the comment section below your favorite blush and if you have a favorite technique that works well to keep your blush from fading. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today. I so appreciate your support and encouragement, and I also hope that you'll share this video with someone you know who might find it helpful. Until we get together again, I'm sending you warm wishes for much health and happiness, and hope you have a really fabulous rest of your day. Take care.